Good afternoon, all of you. Is my screen is my screen visible to all of you? Okay. Today we are going to learn a new topic called as form controls. Before going into form controls, say for example, I'm going to facebook.com. You're able to see here in this Facebook homepage, there are some fields. So the blue stretch at the top of the browser window, you're able to see two fields. In one field, you're either supposed to enter your email ID or phone number, and the second field, password. Then click on this button, login button. So something will happen, and some background work will happen on the server, and as a result, you will be seeing if your password is correct, you will be seeing the home page or the timeline of your Facebook account. Or if you don't have an account here, then you have to create an account below here. So you need to enter your name, first name, surname, mobile number, email ID, your password, your date of birth, your gender, all these things, and click on sign up button. Then your details will be stored into the database server. The next time after you you registered successfully, you will be able to log into your account, right? So what are these called as these fields where you enter your first name, surname, mobile number, your password, date of birth, your gender, and the sign up button, and then this text field where you enter your phone number or email ID, the password field, and this login button. All these are nothing but called as form controls. These are called as form controls. So let us see today how to create these form controls using HTML and what tags are used in HTML to create a form like that. So when you create a form or form controls, the form controls are not one in number actually. They are multiple in number, right? Just like I showed you just now. So if you look at the login form, you have two fields. One field where you enter your email ID or phone number, and the second field is password. And if it is a sign up form, then you have a first name field, surname field, mobile or email address field, password field, and then date of birth fields, and then your gender fields, all these things, right? So there may be a group of form controls, not a single form control. So how to create this form control? So when you consider them as a group, then first we need a tag called form tag. The form tag is going to create a form. Whenever you place this form, when you want to create a form, you have to use this form tag, and in between these two opening and closing form tags, you need to use another tag called input tag, one more tag called select tag. Then you have text area tag. These are the tags that you're going to use to create this form control. Okay? So the select tag along with its another tag called option tag. You have another tag called option tag. These two will become used combinedly. You cannot separate. Just like you use list item li tag with ordered list OL and unordered list UL. This option tag is always used with select tag. In between the select opening and closing tag, you're going to use option, right? And This text area tag is used to create an area where you can type multiple lines of text. Say, for example, when you're combining, you're composing an email, I open my email. So when you click on compose, so you're able to see here you are going to type your email ID to the email ID of the person to whom you want to send an email. Then this is the subject. So email content is related to which topic or something you're going to mention here in the subject field. Then here you're going to type multiple lines of text. So if you are able to type this many lines of text, then that area is called as, that is nothing but called as text area. Whereas in this subject field, you can type only one line of text, not type multiple lines of. This is called as a simple text field. Is text field, and this one is text area. So what you must understand here is, let us start this one. Go back to our notepad. So in your HTML form that you create, you may have text fields. You may have text fields uh, where you can type one line of text, and then you have text area. You can type multiple lines of text. So we can create these text fields and text areas. Text area is created using the tag text area tag, whereas text fields are created using input. And then you also have radio buttons, check boxes. So let me tell you what is radio button. A radio button is nothing but, see here you're selecting your gender, right? You may either use a male or female or something else, right? So these fields are called as radio buttons. You'll have a circle like symbol, and when you click on them, a dot will appear in between them. That is called as a radio button. And similarly, you might have observed sometimes you will come across check boxes also. Radio buttons, you know, just now I told you, check boxes are like square boxes. When you click on them, tick mark will appear. So such things are called as check boxes, right? And then you have drop downs. Drop down is nothing but you can select, say for example, you're choosing your date. When you click on this arrow mark, you're able to see a pop-up or pop-down will be there, where you'll have multiple options. You'll select one option from there, right? So such thing is called as a drop-down. Uh, so you can create a drop-down also. So this drop-down is created using this select tag and option tag together. Checkboxes and radio buttons and text fields, all these are created using uh, still some people are joining. Text area is created using text area tag. Text fields, radio buttons, checkboxes are created using input tag. Same input tag can be used for all these things. Even a password field also can be created using text input tag. Then date field also can be created using same input tag. Okay, so these are all what nothing but they are called as form field, form controls or form fields. So to create all these kind of form controls, we need to use these three tags: input tag, select tag, and text area tag. When you use select tag, along with that, we need to use option tag also. And we need to put all these tags within the form tag. You have to open the form tag and close the form tag, and in between the form tags, you need to use these three different tags for creating different fields, right? Now that you understood what are these form controls, let us see how to create these form controls with an example program. So, all these. Let me create a HTML template. So I'll type here, I'll use the title HTML form control. Let me save this as forms.html. We have this WD folder, so I'm going to save it here. So you can see the title at the on the title bar of the window. Now let us go to the program. So let us create the form. So the form tag looks like this. Tags of form tag is like open the form tag and close the form tag. And this has many attributes. Out of them, the most important things are two attributes. They are method and action attribute. Okay? And you can also use name attribute also. But as of now, I'm not going to use any of these attributes because they don't serve any purpose for us as of now. So they'll be useful only when we start writing JavaScript or PHP or JSP programs. But as of now, we are still learning only HTML programs. We didn't start yet JavaScript. So once you start learning JavaScript, then we can make use of this action attribute. And then once you start your learning PHP and JSP, you can start using this method attribute. And the name attribute will be used in both the cases when you start using JavaScript and as well as PHP and JSP. But as of now, let us not use these attributes. But I must tell you that this form tag has certain attributes and their meaning. So I'm just introducing you to these three attributes of the form tag now, but we're not going to use them anyway. So we are going to use them later. So when time comes, when we start using JavaScript, then I'll tell you what is this action attribute and what must be its value, what is the method attribute and what is its value. Name is just like any for any other tags that we were using name attribute, right? Name attribute is common thing. We have seen it for many other tags also. So the same purpose is here also. So I'm not going to use this name attribute anyhow now. So within this one, say for example, I want to create a registration form for a student where he is supposed to. I'll put a heading here for the form tag opens. One one tag. So here I'll display. Write it as student registration. Okay. Now we'll create a heading student registration, right? And below that, now I've created a form. So because the form is now empty, we are not getting anything in the output. In this form, I want to create fields wherein the student will be entering his name, his father's name, his date of birth, his gender, his or her gender, and hobbies, address, all these things. So for that, how to create this? First, I want to use name label like this. So this will simply display what? A name here. You can see name is displayed. And after this, I'm going to use the tag input tag, which I mentioned earlier. So for this, you have an attribute called type attribute. So if you want to create a text field where you can enter a name or anything, any text you want to enter in that field, then you have to give type value as. For this, you can use a name attribute. I'm giving the name is equal to S name, which stands for student name. Okay. And then you can also use something called placeholder, which will uh, display inside the text field by default some text, which will indicate that the user is supposed to enter his name in that field. So when you display name like this, you need not display this name label before that text field. So if you don't use this label here, then you have to go for this placeholder. Otherwise, there is no need of this. And input tag uh, will be uh, it is like an empty tag. Just like yesterday, I was telling you about image tag, which is an empty tag, which does not have a closing tag. Similarly, input tag also does not have a closing tag, right? So it is an empty tag. So just only opening tag will be there. And if you mention required here, then this field will become mandatory field. This field will become mandatory. I'll tell you what is mandatory field within a short while. So don't worry about that. But as of now, I'm removing this name here. Okay. Then I'm going to create another field. Here he is supposed to enter say, mobile number, say for example, father's name, father's name. So then another field will be created. But look where the field is created, just beside the previous field. So if you want to display it in the next field, you just give a break tag. So this will take the second field in the next line. And then I'm going to use another one. This time I want to use a date of birth. So I want the student to enter his date of birth. Sorry. So here you need to do type is equal to date. So type is equal to date. Then this one will be like DOB. And this one, the F name, which stands for father's name. Then there is no need of this placeholder because placeholder will not be required here. Let me refresh this. So you can see name, and you can see father's name, and then a date of birth field. So where when you click on this, a calendar will be open. You can select the years. Double click on this, then this will show you all the months. If you click on this, you can go for various years also. Currently, it is showing 2020. So you can scroll it down to go to the previous years to choose year. So you're choosing say 2000 as your or 2001. Let me take 2000 as your year. Then you can choose from July 31st like this. So this will be taken as your date of birth, right? So this is how you can create a date field. So for all these tags, if you observe, the same tag is used, the same input tag is used. The only thing is the type attribute is changing. Type attribute is changing. Type is equal to text for both student name and father name. and type is equal to date for the date of birth. Similarly, you can use this date of birth, this input tag even for creating a password field. Data, data, తొందరరా. So input type is equal to, you want to create a password field, then you can do password. Type is equal to password. Name is equal to, you can give anything. PWO for password, and placeholder you can give for this one. Placeholder I'm going to give password. This is going to create a password field, right? So when you type something here, nothing will be visible, only dots will be visible because you have chosen type is equal to password. Whereas here, if you type something like this, everything will be visible. Whatever you're typing, that will be visible here. Both, because they are all text field. So in a text field, when you type something, that will be displayed. Right? So first two are text fields, and the next one is date of birth field, and then next one is password field that he wants to use for his account. Then you want to create a gender field like this. You can create, and again using the same input tag. You need to use type is equal to radio for creating a radio button. And name is equal to, you must give say gender. There will not be any placeholder for this one. You want to create two text, two radio buttons. So one for male and the other one for female. Then copy and paste the same here for in the radio button, because we need two radio buttons, one for male gender and the other one for female gender. But the name attribute must be same for both these radio buttons, because all these radio buttons together will form a single entity. Either one will, either male will be selected or female will be selected. Nothing else can be done, right? So that's why we'll be using the same name attribute value for both these input tags for creating radio buttons. But if you observe the remaining input tags, we have given unique name value, name attribute values for all of these. For first field, we have given name is equal to S name, and for second field, we have given name is equal to F name. For third field, name is equal to DOB. Then the fourth field, name is equal to PWORD word, right? But coming to these two radio buttons, we are giving name is equal to gender. So in this way, if you create more than two radio buttons, for all those radio buttons, you must give name is equal to gender only, because these two form controls are mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive in the sense, if one is selected, the other one will not be selected, right? It will be unselected. If the male is selected, this female will be unselected. If female is selected, male will be unselected. So such form controls, they are called as mutually exclusive controls. But these other form controls that we created before this radio button, they are not mutually exclusive. They are exclusive each other, right? So they don't have relationship with each other. So that's why you need to use unique name for the attribute name attribute in your input tag. So now let me show this. I'll use a break tag here also. Break tag here also. Let me show you the output. You're able to see male, female. So if one is selected, female will be unselected. Earlier, now male is selected, right? If I click on female, what will happen? Male will be unselected. So this is called as mutually exclusive. So if you don't give this name attribute value same for both these radio buttons, what will happen is you will be able to select both of them. So let me give gender 1 and gender 2 like this, different radio button. Then I'll refresh this page. I'll be able to select both these radio buttons. but this should not happen, right? So either male must be selected or female must be selected, not both. So that's the reason why you have to give the same name for this video button. If you want to display a label before this one to specify that this is gender, you can write a gender label before this. Right? As of now, I'm not writing anything. Then similarly, you can also create check boxes. So what are check boxes, right? Where boxes will appear. So for this, you have to give type is equal to checkbox. Name, I'm going to give say hobby. Give name as hobbies. So how many checkboxes you want to create? That many checkboxes. In front of this one, I'm going to create a label called music. So this checkbox will represents music. Then say cricket. Then say traveling. These are some of my hobbies. So for example, create this one like this. Then this will create checkboxes like it. Music, cricket, traveling. Use break tag here so that they will be displayed in the next line. So I can select all of them because one person will be having multiple hobbies. It is not necessary that he will be having only one hobby. He may have multiple hobbies. He may be interested in music and cricket at the same time, traveling also, news also. So in that case, you can select multiple options like this. So whichever option you don't prefer, you will unselect it, right? Like this. So you can select multiple options. So I hope you understood the difference between radio button and check boxes. Radio buttons, if one is selected, the other one will not be selected, right? But that is not the case with check boxes. Check boxes will have, you can select all the values or even one value, right? Then, so if you use this required field, this required I'm using at the end of the tag, right? So this can be used for every tag you can use. Use it for, I used it for password. I didn't use it for password, right? I didn't use it for any other tag. So let me not use it for gender. Also nothing will happen. So I just created all these controls now. Now let us create some more. I want to show a field to describe about himself. So I can create text area like this. Just before we were discussing about text area, what is text area, right? Where you can type multiple lines of. I'm creating a text area. For this, you can use attributes row, false. So if you give rows is equal to say, for example, 5, false is equal to say, for example, capture. What is this going to do is, this is going to create a text area where you can type multiple lines of text. How many lines you want to type, that much you can specify here. And even though if you specify 5, it will allow you to type multiple lines, more than 5 lines also, even less than 5 lines also. But at this, on your screen, only 5 rows will be visible at a time. If you want to see the remaining lines, you have to scroll them down or up. So there will be a scroll bar provided to you. Then that's scroll that, you can view the remaining lines. But at a time, only 5 lines will be displayed to you. And calls is equal to 20 means you can type up to 20 characters in each line. 20 characters in each line. So you know what is a scroll bar. So you are able to see the right scroll bar for my notepad window. I am scrolling it now, right? Because my entire program is not visible in this notepad window. If I want to see the part which is not visible currently, so I have to scroll it either upwards or downwards like this, right? Similarly, if I am not unable to view it in a horizontal direction completely, then I have to scroll this horizontal scroll bar. So this is horizontal scroll bar, and this is vertical scroll bar, right? In the same way, you can create a text area where you can type multiple lines of text, but at a time only 5 rows and 20 columns will be visible. But this 20 columns will allow you to type only 20 characters in each line. Though rows will allow you to create multiple lines, type multiple more than 5 lines of text. Only 5 lines will be visible at a time for you. Right? So let me show it to you by refreshing the page. Now you can see a text area created. Here I can type uh, multiple lines. Typing like this. I can type maximum of 20 characters in each line. So I'm going to type something. How many lines are completed now? 5 lines are completed. It will allow me to type more than 5 lines like this, and I'll get a scroll bar like this. Coming to calls, it will allow only a maximum of 20 characters in each line. If you want to increase the 20, more than 20 characters, then you have to change this to 30 like this or 40, whatever you want. Finish. Now the size width of the text area has been increased. Right? Fine. And type 30 characters in each line. 5 rows or more than 5 rows also. Fine. So this is how you create a text area. And let me also show you how to use the select also. For example, uh, you are asked to display your district or state in which you live in this country. Then in that case, you require a state to be chosen. So I'll use the select tag like this. For this also, I can give a name attribute in a state. And between these two, select open tags, open and close tags. I have to use option tag, option and then close. So this option tag will have an attribute called value attribute. Value. You can create as many options as you want. In the drop down, how many lists you want to have, how many items you want to have, but creating three states and creating first Telangana, states. You can see the select tag, which is created a drop down menu. So you can choose one of them. Let me use break tag here, and content is displayed in the next slide. Like this, you can create form controls. Okay, so uh, we have used four different types of tags: select tag, option tag together, then text area, then input tag. So input tag is used to create many different types of form controls, whereas text area is only used to create a text area. Select tag is used to create a drop down select and option. Okay, so Now that you understood how to create various form controls, these are all the form controls that we can create. Check boxes, text fields, text areas, uh, then password field. Finally, after typing all these things, you want to submit this data registered into the database. For that, what you need to do, you need to create a submit button or a register button. For that, you need to use again input tag, and you have to use type is equal to submit. Then you can have another attribute called value, and this attribute value, whatever you give here, will be appearing inside the submit button. Okay? And we can also create one more uh, button. This will be for clearing the fields that you entered. This field must be given as reset. Type is equal to reset. This will create buttons, register button and clear button. Say if I have entered say something, click on register, nothing will happen, right? If I don't enter a field, you see, please enter a valid value. You are getting. Why? Because you are given required at the end of each and every input. If you don't give required, then this will not. This alert will not be given. Say I'll enter 12. Now all the fields are selected, right? So if anything is missed, because I have given required for all the fields, it is asking me to check all the. Nothing will happen. Only the fields are created. Fine. So if I don't enter anything here and click on register, then it will ask me to fill out this field. Why this is coming? Because I have used the required word keyword at the end of each and every tag here. So that's the reason why it is doing. If I remove this, then it will not give that error. Then now let me fill this. Now you want to clear all these fields. You don't want these fields to be available. Then if you click on clear button, automatically all the data that you entered in all these fields will be clear. So that is the purpose of reset button. So to create a reset button or clear field, you need to use input type is equal to reset and value is equal to, if you give clear, then it will be displayed here as clear. If you give as cancel, it will be displayed as cancel. Because I gave register here for this one, so value, so this button is displayed as register. But the type of this button is submit button, and this button's type is reset button. So reset will clear all the fields, and submit button will submit this form data to some other program on the server. And to which program you want to send, that you have to specify the action attribute value. You're going to see that later. Fine. So this is how you need to create form controls. So along with this, if you want this form to look more attractive, or it is not attractive now, but it is looking awkward now because the fields are occupying different widths and the form is looking awkward. You can put these fields in table tag also. Let me show you how to use the table tag. I don't have that much time, so let me show you a program which is already created just before in the morning. I've taken the same class for CSC students, third year CSC students. I'm going to show you. This is the registration form that I created. So you can see I used table here. So that's why all these are displayed in a single center, aligned at the center, because I have used table align is equal to center. Then in table I have created multiple rows. So this is first row. The first row I used two columns. All the rows I used two columns. So that means in each TR tag you need to use two TD column TD cells. In each TD, in the first row, first TD, I'm using name label. Second TD column, I'm using text field. That way, I created all that. How many table rows are created? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And finally, for displaying this register button and clear button also, I use totally 16 table rows I have created. In each row, I created two cells. Let me show the code for this one. Body tag, I created a heading of H2 size and displayed a heading student registration. And then I opened the form tag. Inside the form tag, I opened the table tag. I close the table tag at the end before closing the form tag. Right? The table is closed here. And you know how to create a table, HTML table. Right? So I created 16 different rows. In each row, this is first row. You can see two columns are created, one TD here. First TD I displayed the label name, and in the second TD I displayed this text field by using the input tag type is equal to text. Right? And something else I want to tell you along with this type attribute, name attribute, you can also use these size and max length attributes for text area and text fields. So the size attribute is going to display uh, this text field with a particular size, its width with its width as 20 pixels on the screen, right? So, what is the meaning of this one? The width of this text field from starting from here till here, it is occupying how many pixels? 20. That is the meaning of size. And max length means so this is going to allow you to type only 50 characters in length. This text field it will not allow you to create more, enter more than 50 characters, right? So if I give you here instead of 50, say 10, then let me refresh this page. So this will allow me to enter only 10. I'm going to enter 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 10 different characters, right? After this, if I type anything, nothing will happen. I'm typing here. You are not able to see whether I'm typing or not, but I'm typing here. But the cursor is blinking, but it is not allowing me to type. Whatever I type, it is not displaying it there because I used the maximum length of the text field to be only 10 characters. So that I have done using an attribute called max length attribute. Because I gave 10, it is allowing me only to 10. So now I'm going to give 20. I'm going to specify the size as say 30. Look at the size or width of this text field is displayed with 30 pixels of space. And because I mentioned max length as 20, let me type all the alphabets A, B, C, I, J, K, L, P, R, S, T. I'm trying to type U, V, W, X, Y, Z, but they're not typing. Because allow me to type only 20 characters. So how many characters are left over out of 26 alphabets? 6 are left over. So up to P, the number of characters are 20. So how many are left over? U, V, W, X, Y, Z. 6. So I'm unable to type them here because I have given the max length as 20. So you can use this size and max length for text field and text area, right? Even text area also you can use it. For this also you can give text area also you can give max length. So max length will allow you to type only that many characters, right? So this is how you need to create form controls. I hope all the form controls are covered here. So it is your responsibility to by the time you come for the next week class, uh, you're supposed to create a HTML form similarly like this one, the registration form. So the fields I want you to create is, let me show those fields. So you must create a form containing your first name, last name, father's name, your date of birth, then your gender, your email, file number, then your address consisting of house number, one field for house number, another field for street, then colony, then village, town, whatever it is. Then so you choose whatever you want, whether you want to use select tag for district and state to create a drop down, and from that you can select one of the district or one of the state. Village town there will be more in number, so it is not suggested to use drop down. Colony, text box or text field, whatever it is. For all because these all will have only one line of text, so you can use text field or text box for creating all these fields: email field, mobile field, house number field, street field, and colony field. Father's name also can be text field. All these first name, last name, father's name can be text fields. Date of birth type is equal to date. Gender must be radio button. Email text fields. Similarly, you can create hobbies also, right? Then finally, yourself, about yourself, say in 100 words. For this, you can create a text area. So with all these fields, you need to create a registration form by with the knowledge that you gained today in today's class. Yeah, this is a task for you for next week. Before we go for the next week's class, because we are left over with 10 more minutes, let me introduce you about a new topic that we are going to start. With this, I'm going to wind up HTML. So any other HTML tags, there are many other HTML tags, and we cannot cover all those tags in this subject here in this class. You just have in syllabus a basic HTML tags. So I have taught you only the basic HTML tags. Any other additional tags you want to learn, you can go through the websites that I mentioned yesterday and learn out of your own interest. So under self-learning concept, you can learn them. It is not very difficult, right? It is not even difficult. Let us not say difficult or very difficult. It is easy. HTML is very, very easy. Remember, HTML is case insensitive. It is not case sensitive like C programming and Java programming. It is case insensitive. So you can create a opening tag in small letters and you can create a closing tag in capital letters. Nothing will happen. Okay. So this is about HTML. And anything else I missed, I'll be dealing with them when we are using CSS and the JavaScript. Because again, when we start learning about CSS and JavaScript, we'll be using these HTML tags also there. So CS, when we start learning CSS, we'll use that CSS along with HTML code also. That is not a separate thing. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript will be used together in a single file. So anyhow, if anything is left over, we can cover them as and when required when we are dealing with CSS and JavaScript programs, right? So because I cannot waste my time only for these topics, because the syllabus is huge. You need to complete CSS, you need to complete HTML, you need to complete JavaScript, then uh, servlet PHP, and then JSP. So they will take more time, and JavaScript will take even more time. Take more time to be fine. So that's the reason I'm going to wind up here. Or if you are having any difficulty writing the program or any other learning about new tags, which I didn't cover here in the syllabus because you are having only fundamental tags. Okay, so you can ask me in the next week so that I can complete that one and then go ahead with the next topic. So the next topic, I hope all of you have noted all these fields that you are supposed to create. If you want, I'll take a screenshot and I'll send it to you. Right. So this one I'm going to send you in WhatsApp. You can create the form, HTML form. Sorry, last name. Create once again. First name is missing. I'll send this screenshot to you WhatsApp group, so that you can create only those fields. If you forget anything, you can look at this image and then you can create the form. So use table also, just like I used in this program. How I used a table just before I showed you, right? I used the table tag. See, I'm not giving these programs to you. I'm not sending these programs to you because if I send it to you, you'll just copy paste them and edit them. So I don't want that to happen because you write, you'll remember these topics and you'll master these topics. So it is just like when you're traveling to a new place, you're going to travel from your home to that place in a new route, and initially 1 or 2 days you'll feel that it is new, and you may also get confused with that route, forget that route also. But after traveling it for daily for some months, automatically when you're traveling or when you're driving yourself also, automatically your steering or your bike handle will move in whichever direction it is required, right? So that will come only because you have done it daily, you have traveled daily. So if you keep practicing these programs also regularly, then you will not forget all these things. You need not prepare for exam also, directly you can go and attend the exam. But if you don't practice, you'll forget it. So it is from your end because you don't have laboratory for this one, right? So it is your responsibility to learn, put efforts from your end and learn them perfectly by practicing them on your computers at home. You know, all of you are at home and you don't require any additional softwares as of now for executing these HTML programs or CSS. In the coming days, you are going to learn CSS and JavaScript also. There, you don't require any additional software. After that, let us see, meanwhile, what will happen, whether these online classes are going to continue or we are going to have some offline classes after 2 or 3 months. Let us see what is going to happen. Then, depending on that situation, we can approach for dealing with that issue also. Fine. So now let me introduce you about the next topic that I'm going to deal with. The next topic that we are going to see it is not related to, it is not part of HTML, but it will be used along with HTML. This is cascading style sheet. So what is cascading style sheets means? This cascading style sheet will allow you to create some styles for your HTML tags that you created using all the tags that we have used so far. Your paragraph will be displayed in a fixed format. You want to modify it. So it is just like customization concept. So you know what is customization, right? When you purchase an item or a product, it will be coming in a predefined manner. If you want to modify it into whatever way you want, you can do that, which is called as customization. When you purchase a four-wheeler car also, what will happen? So the car will come with basic features which is provided by that company. If you want to alter them, you can make alterations to this. You can change the wheels and have a bigger wheels for your vehicle than the smaller wheels that are provided to you by the company when you purchase the car. Similarly, you can change your interiors of the car also, right? So in that way, you can customize it, right? So that your car will look more attractive than the basic features provided to you by the company. So similarly, the HTML will give the functionality, only the basic functionality to that your web page. But if you want to add more uh, beauty to your pages, more style to your pages, so that they look more attractive, uh, we are going to use nothing but for style sheets, right? So style sheets are nothing but they contain some code which will create styling for your HTML tags. And the styling can be done in three different ways. First one is inline styling. Second one is internal styling. Third one is external styling. And this internal styling is done using an attribute in HTML tag. You'll have a attribute called style attribute. I mentioned here uses style attribute. Coming to internal styling, uses tag called style tag. Coming to external styling, uh, creates a separate file .css extension. So you're going to create a new file .css extension and create that CSS code inside a separate file. And if you are using style attribute or style tag, you can write the CSS code within the same HTML document where you have written the HTML. But coming to external styling, you need to create a separate file called .css and uses link tag. So there will be a tag called link tag in HTML. So we are supposed to use link tag. So all these tags we didn't see earlier in HTML, right? But their purpose is uh, only for this purpose, for styling. So we cannot discuss style tag and the link tag separately in HTML unless we know what is cascading styles, right? That's why I didn't deal these tags earlier. Now I'm going to deal them. Let us spend some more time, if you want, for these together, because uh, earlier HTML used to have many other tags, but some of the tags were deprecated in the latest version, that is HTML5. Instead of using those tags or attributes of some of the tags, we can use CSS to achieve the same functionality that we get with the HTML tags. Okay, so we are going to see this cascading style sheets in the coming class in the next week. So before that, you complete the task that I have given to you. Create a registration form with the fields that I mentioned earlier. Now, You can text your roll numbers, all of you, and then leave the class.